Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're talking about day 11 of the Kouri Richins trial. Now, I was expecting to be able to get information on the walk the dog letter and totally be able to break it down with everybody, but court didn't get very far today. Only one witness was taking the stand, so I wasn't going to really do any video on this, but I felt like there was a lot of confusion if anybody watched it and with what was going on between the state and the prosecutors. So I thought that I would break it down in a quick video real quick on what happened today, why court will not pick up again until tomorrow. So there is transcripts that are and interviews of Carmen Lauber, I believe is how you say it. She's the house cleaner and friend who's already been on the stand, and she was testifying. And apparently there's tons of video evidence that she was being interviewed by Detective Driscoll and other law enforcement officers, and the defense team for Kouri feels that that should not be picked apart or cherry picked like she kept saying today, and that the state just feels like it's just an overwhelming amount of transcripts that they just wanted to edit it down and just produce a couple for the jury and put it in there. And then Kouri's attorneys were like, no, if we're going to show a little bit, we need to show it all, which is like 7.5 hours of footage and over 1,000 pages. So what happened with that is the judge, they kept mentioning that they felt it was a Crawford problem. So what a Crawford problem is that they're referring to is that it's basically a fair trial rule. And if someone says something official, right, then against you, then they must show up in court and be able to be asked questions. And if they don't show up, then the judge isn't allowed to use it. Carmen Lauber was on the stand. She was able to be cross-examined. That's one of the steps in that. So that's why the judge kept saying this is not a Crawford issue. But they felt, because Kouri's attorneys felt that because Carmen was on the stand and wasn't asked the questions or was answering, I don't know, to any of the questions that the state was asking her, it wasn't able to let them come back and cross her on some of the testimony that she gave previously that are in these transcripts that are then going to be showed or not, depending on what the judge rules on, to the jury. So they they, as in Kouri's attorneys, asked for a 2-day continuance. The judge said no. Judge said, you can have a 1-day. Then they said, well, can we have till 11 p.m.? Judge said, no, you can have till 6 p.m. because they're going to have to put this in writing and give it back to the judge, and the state's going to have to go over it. So it was just like 3 hours of that. And that's what it came down to. That was the final decision. So then they had like 10 minutes, or it was only going to be 10 minutes that they were going to have to, that the state wanted to pull this guy named, he was a digital forensics guy, and Chris Kotradimos. He went on the stand, and it was only for 10 minutes. Kouri's defense team didn't even have any questions for him. They basically just confirmed with him text message timestamps, and that the text message timestamps that were on a text message that said no, and then another text message that said Eric had passed away, that the time was in fact wrong because it was connecting to the time of the home office of whatever that cell company was. And so there was a difference in time with 2 hours or something. It really wasn't much to get out of that. So that was it. It was 10 minutes, just like they said. So it's supposed to pick back up tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. They think they're going to bring the jury in at 1 o'clock. Hopefully tomorrow we will get the walk the dog letter. Now, I'm going to bring the walk the dog letter up in another video. Definitely, if you're interested in missing persons, true crime, court updates, statuses, anything, subscribe so that you'll get a notification when we post our next video. And our next video should very well be the walk the dog letter, explaining it and what we hear about it in court. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great night.